We'll come back tomorrow and we'll...
We're not coming
We're not
back
coming back
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
We'll be back with a pre-made one.
Here we go. All right.
I know you're trying to make a movie.
I know.
We're like wearing the same outfits the following day.
All right.
Hello and welcome to WTF, where we help you transform food in your kitchen. I'm Janie.
And I'm Roman.
And on this channel, we talk about unique ingredients, techniques, and show you new recipes for your kitchen. And today we are doing a great recipe that is a take on a very fancy, very classic dish, the beef Wellington. But in this day and age, who can afford beef tenderloin? Not a lot of people. So we are doing what we're calling the cheap man's Wellington. We're going to show you how to make a version of this delicious dish using regular old stew meat. So if you're already booing this concept, well, stick around and find out how we do it because it's actually really delicious and fun. And so Roman's going to walk you step by step through how to make this yummy, yummy, tasty Wellington. All right, let's first talk about the differences between a chuck stew meat, which you get for $6 a pound, versus a beef tenderloin, which is like $25, $30 a pound at the store. What is the main difference between the two?
Well, the main difference obviously is going to be texture. One takes forever to get to a point where it's really, super palatable, like a fillet. A fillet is just like super silky. It's not my favorite meat. I'm more of a ribeye guy because I like a little bit more fat running through my meat. But fillet is very delectable, very smooth. The texture of it is just optimal, and actually stew meat is quite opposite. Long cooks. Takes a while for it to get to where you need to get the texture that you want for it to be really delicious. So it's a vast difference in meat quality also.
Yeah, and of course reflected in the prices. But what I love about a Wellington is not just that the meat is in there, but it's everything that goes around the meat, which we're going to show you how to do today. But let's first start with how do we turn stew meat into a meat that is ready to be in a Wellington.
Okay, first what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple of our stew pieces right here. This comes in at $5.99 a pound, so super affordable. We're just gonna pound it out. So we're just gonna take a couple of pieces here and just gonna really pound it out a little bit. You wanna get it to about 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna hit it with that tenderizer part. About 3 or 4 times on each side, and we're going to do this to all of the stew meat, and then we're going to get our mouglu together, and we're going to put that all together. We're going to get that into a nice, beautiful Wellington with some braised kale and also a nice duxelle. This duxelle is beautiful. It's a stay-put duxelle that stays in place. So when you're cutting through that beautiful Wellington, it looks gorgeous. It's amazing. Now that we have all of our meat pounded out and tenderized, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some of our mouglu to it, RM. I have my glue in here. We're just going to sprinkle that onto it.
All right, and mouglu is transglutaminase. It's an enzyme that bonds together proteins, and it forms a permanent bond once it sets. And as Roman's doing this, so one of the biggest things that I hear people say about meat glue as a critique is that they'll say, oh, well, it's how people use meat glue to pass cheap cuts off as expensive cuts.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, and I can assure you that no amount of meat glue is going to turn stew meat into tenderloin, and that's not what we're trying to do here. So we're just trying to make a fun, different, affordable version of the beef Wellington. So before anyone's like, well, now restaurants are going to go, no, they're not going to. You're not going to be able to be fooled into thinking that your chuck stew meat is a tenderloin.
I hope not.
If anyone does, let us know who it is.
All right, so now that we have our RM mouglu mixed with our meat, we're just going to shingle it onto this plastic wrap, and we're going to try to get it into a nice rectangular shape. It's not really important how you shingle it, as long as you make sure that you kind of like get some of the meat on top of each other, because that'll allow the mouglu to do its thing and hold this all together. All right, now that we have our meat shingled, we're gonna throw a piece of plastic wrap on top of it. I like to use a vacuum sealer to vacuum seal this to get it all together so it holds together. But if you don't, you can use 2 half sheet trays, one on top of each other with a little bit of weight on top of it, and that'll do the same thing.
Cool. And how long do you let that sit for in order to activate the transglutaminase?
I actually let this go overnight. You can go about 6 to 8 hours and it'll work perfectly fine. I've done it before, but to be safe, I go overnight with it.
And you could do like a light sous vide on it to help speed it along, but we typically, if you're not in a rush, then just let it sit overnight. It's safer.
All right, that'll go into the fridge and we will let it do its thing.
All right, so we have our stewed meat glued together, but before we unveil it, I want to remind you to support Modernist Pantry. You can go to blog.modernistpantry.com to get all of our recipes. Check out what we have, tons of other content and videos. In addition, visit modernistpantry.com. We are a small business and we do appreciate all your support on a small channel and store like ours. All right, that's my pitch. What are we doing with this meat?
Now we have our meat that's been resting overnight and it should be very glued. We're gonna cut it open to unveil it.
Ooh.
Look at that.
That is a very solid piece of meat.
Yes, it is. And as you can see,
it looks like Lady Gaga's meat dress.
it's it kind of does. Yeah. It's so cool. It does. It totally does. All right, so we're ready to go. We can start rolling this up immediately.
All right, what do we do?
All right, first we're gonna get I'm gonna move this to the side. And I'm gonna bring out the big guns here.
The big board.
Which is our big board. This is, we're gonna roll our Wellington up in this bad boy. But first, before we do that, I have some RM glue and some sodium caseinate, and we're gonna dry mix these together, and we're gonna add that to our duxelle that was pre-made, and that's our stay put duxelle.
So the reason why we do this is because traditionally when you see Wellingtons, like usually it's kind of falling apart once you cut into it, right? Because nothing's holding the innards in place. This recipe, we did this like a couple years ago. You can find the whole thing in the link in the description below where we walked through this, this duxelle step by step. So it has the meat glue and it has a helper protein, which is the sodium caseinate.
Correct.
It's a dairy protein, and what it does is it just allows the mushrooms to have enough of the necessary proteins in them for the meat glue to work. All right, so that's why that's there. There's a much longer explanation in the links in the description below if you're interested in the details of the duxelle.
All right, so we're just gonna get that put together. You don't wanna add this too early because if you do, it'll start to set itself. And so I do it right before I'm about to roll the Wellington. That way I don't have a stiff duxelle that's hard to work with.
Makes sense.
All right, first we're gonna start with our meat. And we also have a slurry here. This slurry consists of RM moo glue and a little bit of water. And this is gonna help hold everything together. So we're just gonna rub a little bit of that on there. We're gonna add our strips of braised kale. This adds a nice little contrast of flavor and color. We're gonna add another layer of the slurry. And then our stay put duxelle, and we're ready to roll.
Do you do any more layers of the slurry in here? Okay.
No more layers of slurry. The stay put duxelle is fine on its own, so you don't need to really add anything to the top of that. So as you can see, I left about an inch here because that's where it's all going to connect and meet. So you don't want too much duxelle at the head of it overlapping, because then you won't get a great seal. All right, now that our roulade has been resting in the fridge for 24 hours, we're ready to unveil it.
Ooh.
Look at that. Look at that. That's ready. That's beautiful.
It's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's perfect. All right, so we're all set. So now we're gonna change that out. Bring in our puff pastry.
And this is store-bought, or
This is store-bought puff pastry, which is a lot easier than making it yourself. Very cheap, by the way. So we're just going to get some of our egg yolk mixture on the bottom half of the puff pastry.
And what does that do?
That's going to help seal everything together. Put our roulade right on top. And we have another piece that's going to go over the top of that. And we're just going to press that on there.
All right, what are you doing now, Roman?
Now I'm using my fork here just to crimp this onto the puff pastry, just to try to get that nice and sealed. And then
All
I'm
right,
going to turn
looks
that.
like a pie.
It kind of does. But once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and then overlap that.
Is this to prevent things from leaking out during baking?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we're going to brush the puff pastry on all sides. Now this is where you can, you know, if you've done this before, you can add a little design, maybe a couple of lines in there.
Get fancy with
Get
it.
a little fancy, or you can just bake it as is and it'll come out just as fine. And now that's ready to go into the oven.
Right. What's the time and temp?
All right, so it's 425 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. You're looking for an internal temperature of about 125, and it'll go up. Once you take it out, you want to let it rest about 20 minutes, and it'll go up to about 135, and that's where you want to be at.
Okay, guys, moment of truth. We're going to see whether our cheap man's Wellington made with stew meat is tasty.
Yes.
Not the same as beef tenderloin.
Not the same, and
But
we're not
is
trying.
it tasty? Let's find out.
All right, let's cut into it.
Wow, look at that. It's super juicy. It looks still like a little bit pink on the inside.
exactly.
But, you know, we're not expecting rare, but this looks delicious.
It looks great.
All right. Cut it up.
Can we
I
cut it
wanna-
up?
Yeah,
Oh
let's
my God,
let's
all
do
right.
it. All right. All right. Cheers.
All right, cheers.
So flavorful.
Very good.
So the duxelle is just full of umami flavor.
Yes.
As you can see, none of it falls out. So with every bite, you get like a little bit of puff
Of each.
pastry, a little bit of beef, a little bit of duxelle, a little bit of kale. It is super good. So the meat in this case, you know, I know I keep saying it because I know someone's gonna say it, but like, you know, you're not eating tenderloin. It still tastes like
Yes.
it still tastes like kind of, you know, what you think like stew meat's gonna taste like, but
Right.
because you pounded it out, you got all these great flavors. It's tender, it's chewable,
Yep.
it's enjoyable. This makes a great meal for a weekend,
Anytime,
special occasion, really anytime when you want to do something a little bit different, but you want to keep in mind that it's budget friendly, it's relatively healthy, and it's always delicious.
Yep.
So, what do you think, Roman?
I love it. I think it's great. It's got all the flavors.
go
It's
in
got-
there for another piece.
It's got everything that you're looking for in a Wellington. The duxelle is really nice. Like you said, it's got a ton of flavor. The meat is not filet, but because we tenderized it, it's very palatable. It cuts very easy. And then you got everything together with the puff pastry. It just has it all. It tastes like a normal Wellington that you would eat in a fine restaurant. I mean, to me, it's exactly the same.
It's super tasty. It's not exactly
Not exactly the same.
You're
Might be pushing it a little bit. but-
oversold it. But get the full recipe in the links in the description below. And until next week, from here to Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie.
And I'm Roman.